Hey friends, so let's talk about 3 financial books that have drastically changed the way that I view money, and why even as a singer, I think that it is great to read these 3 books to get a general understanding of financial literacy. So let's jump straight into it, right, with the first book, The Millionaire, Fastlane by MJ Demarco. Now this book is amazing. Even from the first few chapters of just the author giving us the backstory of his life, he started out where a lot of people actually start out with a low paying job and taking these crappy wages and just not feeling truly fulfilled in life. And this was the first time that I actually resonated with an author. Mostly just because I was that is a lot of what my life used to look like, and from the stories I hear from other people working 9 to 5s. So to see someone in a very similar place to as where I'm in now in life, and to where I would think a lot of people are, and to see that then transpire and progress into him being a multi-millionaire with several different great ideas and gaining this huge diverse portfolio and other things like that. He learned so much knowledge along the way of his entrepreneurial journey, and it was just inspiring to see him go from basically rags to riches. But there are 2 main points of the book that I really stuck out to me. The first point being, those who have more impact on more people gain more wealth. I believe it's called intrinsic value or something. So if whatever you're doing helps a majority of people, and I say help, now when I say help, I mean service-based things, businesses and people who are very wealthy are always in the business of giving back to others, right? So you think about it, any of the major companies in today's days, they're service businesses. You go to your doctor, that's a service. You go to your mechanic, that's a service. Even the companies in general stores like Target and Walmart, those are service-based things. They are out to provide some kind of value to their customers, whether it be, hey, we can make your skin clearer, we use our products. Hey, you want to eat healthier, lose weight? Try our products. We're giving you something. We're giving you a product that's supposed to benefit you. So that's one of the really big takeaways I took out of just if you want to be, I won't say wealthy, but if you definitely want to get on a track of having more money, definitely think about helping more people and raising your intrinsic value. Now this doesn't have to be you making something completely new and no one's ever seen it before. A lot of people also have gotten very wealthy off of just recreating something that already exists or reimagining it in a new way and presenting it to the public in a fresh new way. Right? I believe it's called intrinsic value. Please, someone in the comments correct me if I am wrong. But that's the first point of the Millionaire Fastlane that I really took home and that sticks with me every day. Is just try to impact more people. Also, a little side note, because I do work in a warehouse, my little 9 to 5. My business that I work for caters to other businesses. So businesses that cater to other businesses are often the ones that have more money. Because businesses affect more people, right? So it's all about that intrinsic value. It's all about the intrinsic value. Help more people. And really that brings us to the second point, which just once again comes right back around to the first part, is just helping others. Another really big factor that I took out of the Millionaire Fastlane was, in order to help a lot of people, you first kind of have to start with yourself. You first have to take accountability of your actions and where you are in life. Take a hard look, ask hard questions, and do uncomfortable things. You're going to have to try a lot of things, and a lot of things are going to fail. So I know the author of the book said he tried X, Y, and Z before it just nothing stuck. I believe it was one point when he was sleeping in a car and he just said enough was enough. But he took accountability for his life and he went for something that he had never done before, and it made him uncomfortable. And I say all of this just really to say, like, being uncomfortable is the fastest way to grow. And that's not just with finances, that's not just with wealth, that's not just with money. Being uncomfortable is the fastest way to grow if you're trying to do anything that's new. Now, you know, on this channel we are all about singing, we are all about vocalizing, we are all about sonic, producing our sonic noises. That, Jesus. That rule still applies here of being uncomfortable. So even when you are, let's say, a singer, you still have to be doing, sounds that make you uncomfortable. You still have to get up on stage and, face a stage fright. That's an uncomfortable situation. If you are somebody who's thinking about actually taking and singing professionally, you still got to go into a room of board directors and investors and like people who have brands, and you have to perform for them, and you have to be uncomfortable. But it is the fastest way to actually grow and get experience, right? So those are the two biggest like takeaways that I've taken from the Millionaire Fastlane. And I am gonna reread this book and probably come back to it. Maybe I may make an entire video on it, because it is truly a great book to take a read on. But that's just, of course, impact more people, you'll get more wealth, and always take accountability and do something that makes you uncomfortable. The Millionaire Fastlane. The second book that drastically changed my financial perspective is Atomic Habits by James Clear. Now, this book wasn't so much about financial literacy as it was just more of a personal book for me, just because I understand some of my weak points, or the points that I'm not fully developed in yet. And the biggest thing for me is procrastination and just not getting things done. And so what Atomic Habits really touched point on, and which was really amazing, he really touched on points of why we procrastinate. What's the science, what's the reasoning behind the procrastination? And after he explained the why, then he explained the how do you correct it. And this book is full of great tips and tricks to actually implement immediately into your life. Oh my goodness. Oh, game changer if you are someone who just wants to do more, but you're just not doing it. And like I said, that is me to a core. That is one of my biggest faults, is that I will put something off until the 12th hour and then run myself crazy trying to finish it, when I know all good and well that I had 11 hours prior to get everything done and to do it correctly and with great quality. But Atomic Habits, there are two big points that I took out of Atomic Habits. The first one, and this is still one that I am actively working on, and friend, I am still actively working on. It takes time to develop habits. There's no set time to actually develop a habit. You just gotta kind of keep doing it. You kind of gotta keep on top of it. But the first point that I really took out of this book was to practice delayed gratification. Now, what does this mean? What is delayed gratification? In simple terms, that just means if you want something, hold off on it until the 12th hour. Make rewards for yourself. So let's say if I needed to come home and film, edit, and get thumbnails created, but I really wanted to eat some ice cream, and I really wanted to watch some Netflix, and I really just wanted to lay down and snooze and be lazy. Delayed gratification is saying, hey, we still get to do that, but only if we do our filming, only if we do our editing, and only if we do our thumbnail creations. Once all of those are done, then we get to do it. It's a reward system, basically. It's a reward to say, if you do the hard things first and get them out of the way, you get to enjoy the good stuff later. And also, it feels so much better this way, because now you don't have the stress, you don't have the fear, you don't have the anxiety of, oh no, my to-do list is 98 items and objectives long, and it's overwhelming, and now I'm getting analysis paralysis, and I don't know what to tackle first, what to tackle last. How do I, set times to these things? You have all these things because your list is now so long because you waited so long. So definitely delayed gratification helped with that so much. It's saying, hey, here's a reward. If you get these things done, you get to enjoy the best parts of life without worrying because you've already finished your list. So there's no guilt attached to like lazing around. There's no guilt to like enjoying that Netflix and ice cream on the couch. Because you already got your filming done. You already got your editing done. You already got, XYZ off that list done. I am still learning so many things. Even if I'm not filming, I'm still getting so many things done behind the scenes. Which honestly, personally, I still gotta like try to get my mindset correct, because sometimes I'm like, if I'm not filming and immediately putting something out, I feel like crap. But then I'm like, no, I still have to actually make the content. I'm still doing thumbnails. I'm still doing research. There's a lot that goes on that that isn't just like getting in front of the camera and recording. And I have to remind myself that even if it's baby steps, even if it seems insignificant, there are still steps to a goal. There are still steps to an end. And I still have to be like, whew, I still did it. We just gotta keep doing it. Start off small. Start off small. But the second point, I can't even say a point. The second like really biggest thing that stuck with me from Atomic Habits is that it is okay to break a streak as long as you get back onto it as soon as possible. Now, the biggest thing with that, like I even just said prior, is just that I would feel terrible if I wasn't doing something big and monumental, something that I know would drastically accelerate me to my goal. Once again, like sitting in front of the camera and filming. But that doesn't mean that the small goals and the small wins don't add up to something bigger. And even if that, I forget a day, or I don't do it, or I don't get this thing checked off the list today, that doesn't necessarily mean that everything's going to stop and I'm not going to reach my goal. That just means that I have to get back on it as soon as possible. Understand why I stopped, take accountability, and then get right back on the ball. Don't let that one day turn into 2 days. Don't let that 2 days turn into a week. Don't let that week turn into a month. Now, granted, things in life happen, but this point really, it stuck out to me because I was like, if it's something that's important to you, you make time for it. Once again, even if it's something small, even if it's something that moves that goalpost 2 centimeters to the goal, it is still a way forward. So that's Atomic Habits. That's another book that I'm honestly going to have to reread as well, friend. Great book. And the last book that has drastically changed my financial literacy, the way that I view money, is the Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey. Now, I don't know how many of y'all know who Dave Ramsey is. If you do, then you do. If you don't, I'm going to tell you. Dave Ramsey even has a YouTube channel. Okay, he is a friendly YouTuber, hon. So you can find his video right after this one. And I definitely recommend it. Dave is I believe, a heavy man in religion. So religion has played a big part in his life. He also has once again, this is another author who went from rags to riches. Like, he had a family and he was working paycheck to paycheck and he was worrying every paycheck, just like the rest of us. Like, how am I going to get rent? How am I going to get food? I have a wife that's dependent on me. I have, people other than myself that needs me to survive, right? So he was down bad, right on with us in the trenches, girl. But Dave Ramsey, he found a strategy. Once again, he just said enough was enough. And that's what I love about Dave Ramsey. And especially in this book, once you read the Total Money Makeover, you're going to understand Dave Ramsey takes no crap. He is a very blunt man, a very straightforward man, and he's going to kind of tell you how it is. not kind of, you know, how we want you to be. It is. He's not gonna, no sugar. You're gonna take it straight, okay? You're gonna take it straight with Dave's. But the thing about Dave is just that I believe some people need that. Shoot, I needed it, right? I was just like, sometimes you kind of need someone to be like, hey, no more beating around the bush. You said you was gonna do this. You need to do this. I'm holding you accountable by giving you a clear, concise list of like how it works. And that's exactly what Dave does in his book. He gives you a clear path to getting out of debt and to saving up money and how the systems work. Oh my goodness, how the systems work. I was like, when I read this book, and especially when you got to like the part of the snowball method, if you read the Total Money Makeover, please let me know if you tried the snowball method. I'm still on the baby steps of just trying to get out of debt. But, what was I gonna say? Oh my goodness. Oh, when I first started reading this book, I was like, I wish I had the Total Money Makeover before I started any big purchases. I wish somebody would have handed me this book and told me to cherish this book when I was a teenager, when I was just getting into my adulthood, when I was just getting on my own, really. I wish someone would have said, take this book and take it seriously, because I would not have made so many of the choices that I have made now if I would have read that book. I had so many ill-conceived thoughts about money. I did not understand a lot. I had general, like, I can't even say general knowledge. I had, like, guesses and oh my goodness, what is the word? I can't think of the word. But, like, assumptions of, like, you know, how things go and how, things are supposed to work. But this book really gives you, like, a great outline if you want to honestly kind of save your way up to like being financially free and like not having to worry about things. I won't spoil it. Maybe that's another book we may have to do a full review on. Maybe we may just make a whole like playlist of like financial books and like the things that are great about them. But the two like biggest things that I took out of the Total Money Makeover was one, that there is no such thing as good debt. Now I thought that there was, honey. I was like, ooh. And back when I started like my credit, we're not gonna go on a whole tangent, but back when I started off like my credit cards, like when I first got my first one, I was doing so good. I had a 780 credit score and it was only rising. It only was until I was like, I got it. I was like, I'm a big boy. I can do everything myself. That freaking credit card score said, I took on way too much responsibility with no cash. No cash. I, once again, just did not have a full grasp of how money worked. But the biggest point, I can't say the biggest point, but one of the points is just that he said that there is no such thing as good debt. He says, once again, because he's very blunt, he said, if you cannot afford it, do not get it. Do not get it. And he also said, do not live above your means. So that's, once again, just going in understanding your personal finances and how much you can afford without putting yourself in a hole. So even if you can afford it, but that means you're going to be late on your other bills, or you can afford it, but you're not going to eat for like 2 weeks, that just means that you cannot afford it. He said you should think about it like the same way that you go to a convenience store and buy a pack of gum. Now when you buy that pack of gum, are you worried about it the next day? Do you leave the store worrying like, ooh, how am I going to do this and how am I going to do that? Am I financially ruined if I buy this pack of gum? No, you just buy the pack of gum and you go on with your life. And that's how you should think about every purchase. He said pay in cash for as much things as you can. He said own as much as you can. There is no such good thing as good debt. And I just didn't know that. So you know what? Thank you, Dave. Thank you. But the second biggest takeaway from the Total Money Makeover was to be proactive with your money. Now, what does this mean? This means to look at your finances, look at how much money is coming in, how much money is going out, and where that money is going, and also to plan for where that money is going. Have a strict plan on X, Y, Z, A, B, C, and then 1, 2, 3. Every dollar and every cent should have a place. There should be nothing unaccounted for. There should be no, ooh, I got an extra $100. What did I not pay this month? Nope, that extra 100 should already be like, ooh, that's the phone bill. Ooh, I worked an extra 2 hours at work. I'm getting some extra money. You should already have that planned out. How much money is those 2 hours worth of work, and what is it going towards? Investing, saving, funds, stocks? Are you building your portfolio? Or is it going to bills? Are you trying to get yourself out of that? That money should already be accounted for. Whether you already have it and it just needs to go into, you know, XYZ accounts, or if it's coming in. But you should be proactive about your money. You should be proactive about your finances. And at least once again, I know for me, looking at my finances even to this day is scary. Opening up that bank account is like, ooh, girl, it fills me with so much anxiety. Opening up that account, I'm like, ooh, Lord, my heart starts racing. But it's definitely a reality check, and especially if you know you're someone who just doesn't do it, open up your bank account as much as possible. Look at that number, and then ask yourself, are you satisfied with that number? Are you satisfied with where your finances and your money is at? And if not, then that number is going to reflect it, and you have to sit with it. And the longer you sit with it, the longer you're going to like kind of come to a realization of, oh shoot, I really kind of got to get my stuff together. And that is, once again, going right back to the thing I said earlier, Dave is a straightforward person. And that's exactly what this book was. It is a straightforward thing. You have to look at these things and sit with them. But that's just to honestly say, if you want a better tomorrow, plan today. And these 3 books, at least in my personal journey, in my opinion, have been like monumental. They have really given me a purpose, they've given me a drive, and they've given me a better understanding of just how things work. And even as a singer, even as a new YouTuber, even as someone who still currently, as a recording of this video, works in a 9-to-5, works in a warehouse, I have so much more confidence in what I'm doing financially. It's still going to take me some time to get everything together and to get it strongly together, because I kind of dug myself into a big hole. But as long as I keep working towards the goal, to the future that I want, it's going to happen. But yes, friends, that was it for today. So I need to ask you, what financial books have you read? What things have you taken out of those financial books? Are you implementing any of those points and ideas into your day-to-day life? And how has it changed you? Are you a singer who is going through, you know, a good financial journey? Are you just someone who just wants to have better financial literacy? Just let me know down in the comments below. Also, these books and their titles will be also down there in the description. But until next time, friends, you got this. I got this. We got this. Bye, friends.